All right, you ready for this?
Double Deuces, Boogo Bago here, fresh off the courts, Sarasota, Florida. Got a little practice session in, a couple tiebreakers. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about the U.S. Open, which starts tomorrow, our final major.
Yep, we finally got our 5th episode, recording this on August 27th, Sunday. So it's been a hot minute since the last time we did one of these.
Yeah, we've talked about it a lot.
We talked about it a lot.
We're here, though.
We're here.
We talked about going to the U.S. Open. I've gone the last 4 years, but we're not there.
We're here. We've got to maybe
we'll just talk about
we'll
it.
have to do a man on the street. Our friend that's on the ground there. Maybe we'll do a supplemental episode or something.
Yeah, we'll have to call him and get a report on how things are going in Queens. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the women.
The women's draw. We just took a little time to look at the crazy 100.
The draw in front of us.
The draw, 128 freaking players in both the men's and women's draws. Yeah. But let's take a look at the women's draw first. Number
one player in the world, Świątek. She's been a little edgy, like when she talks in the press, and a lot of complaining. Oh, I'm burning out, but I see her winning this. I see her as the best hardcore player in the world. Coco Gauff, they're in the top half of this draw, and they're scheduled to meet in the quarterfinals.
Yep.
And Coco just beat her. I don't see her beating her twice in a row.
No.
What do you think?
I don't know. A new coach, new outlook, right? She's got Brad Gilbert. Is it Brad Gilbert?
It's Brad Gilbert.
Brad Gilbert's her new coach, and all of a sudden her forehand isn't a liability.
And she's by far the best athlete, on the tour. So, only 19. The sky's the limit for her.
Yeah.
It would be amazing for, a woman, American to win the U.S. Open. And I think her and Pegula are the only ones. You don't think any of the men can really win it? No.
No. I mean, I don't know.
So Coco Gauff would be the biggest American to win the U.S. Open.
I mean,
men or women.
I would love to see TFO, Big Foe, or even like Eubanks surprise us and get a little farther deeper into the draw, like he did at Wimbledon.
Right. We're talking about winning.
But
come on.
We're talking about winning.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. He makes the semifinals again like he did last year. It was amazing. I
mean, I feel like Alcaraz, I don't know. I don't have the full draw.
Let's stay on the ladies.
Let's stay on the ladies, right.
So out of the Americans, we got Coco Gauff and Pegula that are playing amazing. They're doubles partners.
Yep.
I think they both won the last couple tournaments. They've beaten Iga this year. Iga's dominated both of them throughout their career, and I don't know. I just don't see them like beating her here in this tournament. I don't see her losing. I have on the other. I have Azarenka going far, like one last run here for the veteran, and Mukova, and then I think Pegula is really in a major has gone to the quarters.
I don't know. I'd have to look back.
Yeah.
We'll put that graphic up here or something, but I don't know.
And then also on a hard court, she hasn't been playing that great. I got Sabalenka. So those are my four. And I'm really going chalk. I'm going 1-2 in the finals.
Well, I mean, for Sabalenka, it kind of depends if, if you look at that bottom half of the draw, I kind of had at the quarter Jabeur and Sabalenka. Both of those two have kind of, lack of a better term, choked.
Well, Jabeur just beat her in Wimbledon.
Right. And then Sabalenka lost her chance to get to the final in the French. And that was it. Who's that? Muchova? Or I think that's her name. Got there. I mean, so that's a weird one. Who knows who's going to end up in that bottom
She won
half.
Australia. You thought she's such a powerful player that would take her over the hump mentally, but not much since then.
No, it's been kind of surprising, that she hasn't been able. I mean, she's got such a strong game and she's such a power player that I don't know. It's kind of weird on that bottom half what could happen, but
the other interesting thing about the women's is that they do not have a for the WTA Finals. So I believe it's the top 8 or the top 10. They
Same
qualify
the
for a tournament. Yeah. Same thing with the men's, and they have this tournament at different places throughout the world. I think in the past they had a contract with China, and that they had an issue with Peng Shui missing and taking a stand there.
And then it ended up in Austin or somewhere in Texas out of nowhere because they needed somewhere to play and no one knew it was there.
Yeah. I think it was in Fort Worth and no one went there. And
not even think anyone in Fort Worth knew it was there.
I think the tour is actually struggling too, just because they don't have these tournaments lined up. It looks like Saudi Arabia, they got all the cash. They're looking to make a splash in the sports world. They did it with golf. Mm-hmm. They're trying to do it with soccer. Now they're doing it. I don't know. They're avoiding talking about it, and I think they don't want to talk about it during this U.S. Open. But they're going to go there. I mean, they're going to give them so much money, and they need money. I mean, money, it's always follow the money, right?
So that's an interesting thought. Is there going to be a live golf of tennis?
Definitely could be.
I don't know if there's any actual grumblings about that.
They could do it. I don't know, if they want to do that or, what it would take. It would probably just take Djokovic and Alcaraz, and then, everyone else would just follow.
I don't know. They got their players union thing. But the women, I don't know.
Saudi Arabia is known to not, they just recently let women drive a car in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
I think if you're homosexual, it's illegal. You can't even be it in the country. So you got the WTA Tour, which, always preaches diversity and has this amazing tradition. I think it's 50 years since, Billie Jean King and all those pioneers started it. And now they're looking at being sponsored by Saudi Arabia for their, finals tournament.
It's money. It just depends if money's going to win out here on this one, right? If they're going to end up in Saudi Arabia for that, or they're going to end up in some obscure place in the U.S. because they don't have anywhere to go.
I mean, it's September. This tournament's in early December, late November. I mean, it's pretty strange that they don't even have this scheduled.
So, kind of going on, maybe leading into, I know we're jumping a little subject here, but if you were to fix it, would you just put it with the men's ATP final?
But the men don't want that.
I know they don't want it, but
of course.
Would that make sense than separating it? I don't know.
Every 1,000 tournament is men and women. I mean, that and
yeah.
I mean, I love the women's game, and I know some people don't, but I think they should be combined, but I think there's just a difference as far as revenue and
I thought I saw
the men are not going to want to give that up. It's kind of sad they don't even have they don't have it set, and now, I mean, who are we kidding? They're going to Saudi Arabia. They're going to just throw money at them. They need money, so they're just going to go.
So
they'll make excuses no, they're changing and. Come on. But I really, the women's game, I feel that there's just 4 or 5 players now. But
Isn't that funny? Because we were talking about...
That could really win it, but I don't know. It seems to be, a lot of surprises in the majors, but I have Iga. I don't know. What do you think?
I think, it's Iga and whoever can win out of that bottom half, whether it's Vondrousova again, who won Wimbledon, or if Pegula can make or if Jabeur can get over herself and actually get there and win,
Yeah, I don't know how strong Jabeur is on a hard court,
Right, and or Sabalenka can actually get all the way to a final again.
Yeah.
So it's all a big question mark on the bottom half of that draw. I mean, who knows? Maybe there's someone here that...
And Iga's not as dominant as she was. I mean, she's been losing lately. So, right. I mean, it's still open, but I just don't... I feel like she's the best hardcourt player, and...
She's strong. She's a strong player. There's not... I mean, there's a reason why we kind of just think the whole first top of the half There's no one who's going to really challenge her except for maybe Coco.
Yeah, and that's the quarterfinals.
And that's it.
And I don't feel like Coco can beat her twice in a row.
I mean, I guess...
I think she lost 8 in a row.
Rybakina could potentially...
Yeah. And she's not been playing well. A lot of double faults. Her strong suit is that serve. She's been losing a lot, but she's one of those players that can just turn it on and win the tournament.
I mean, is Machova, who got to that French final, could she break out and maybe challenge Iga? I don't think she's going to beat her, but...
Maybe.
I don't know. It's tough. I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of like we're saying the same thing.
Deep insight here, huh?
Yeah, I know, right? So do we flip over to men, or is there
men? So there's really 2 players.
So why is
and everyone else?
Is this it's Djokovic and Alcaraz.
The greatest of all time, Novak Djokovic, and the 19-year-old Carlito Alcaraz.
Right.
Who
yeah.
Is interesting because you have the one guy who is just hanging on, who's newly motivated, you know, has a rival now. His rival was Nadal.
Yep.
And Nadal's pretty much done.
And not another Spaniard.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And now we have, you know, you and I missed it. We were at a concert, but we saw the highlights of Cincinnati, and it was pretty epic.
That was like almost a 4-hour match, right?
Yeah,
I mean, ridiculous.
They're saying it was like one of the best 3-set matches ever. And
Figures. We leave after the first set.
You know, he lost the French because he cramped, and then that Wimbledon was just amazing.
That was a good
clutch serving, and losing the first set 6-2 or whatever it was to come back and win. Yeah. So I think everyone is just highly anticipating the 1 and 2 matchup. So let's see, like, who could actually, let's say, you know, there's injuries. Both players have had trouble in the heat. You don't know how hot it's going to be.
Yeah.
So let's take a look here. I guess it would be Sinner. Could knock him off. I mean, he's been playing well. I mean, he's just not quite there, but...
Sinner's in the same draw as...
With Alcaraz.
With Alcaraz. So
maybe.
Yeah.
Medvedev, you know, Djokovic really only has to... His draw is like a cakewalk, I
feel like you're right. I don't think he'll lose out of that draw, but the variables that you don't know, I feel like TFO, maybe. Big Foe, maybe.
Yeah,
Tommy
let's
Paul.
talk about the Americans.
Yeah.
We got 3 Americans that are really good and young in their 20s. We got Tiafoe, Tommy Paul, and Taylor Fritz.
Right. Well, you got one more, but he has been out for a while. Sebastian Korda. He was playing great.
He's not really in form, so I don't think...
You don't think he's there yet?
I don't think he's at the form of these other guys right now. Tiafoe made the semifinals last year. Historic, magical run.
Right.
You know, he seems to be more focused and dedicated. Possibly he can do another run to, you know, the semifinals.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. There's
2 players and everyone else.
There's 2 players and there's everybody else. And everyone else is like, I don't know, maybe, like you said, Fritz... I don't know. He just got bulldozed by Djokovic recently.
That wasn't even close.
That wasn't even close. So that's our top American.
Yeah.
Or is he top American or is TFO? No, he is.
He's top American.
Okay. I don't know. Francis, I don't know. I'd love to see him go far. I don't know. I'd love to see Eubanks make a deep run too, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think these guys, they constantly get the questions, when's the next American going to win a major? And it's not happening in this tournament. Those guys would have to get hurt or something would have to happen, and then Tiafoe would just have to go on a magical run.
How did Shelton do in like the lead-up tournaments?
Listen, he's got a lot of potential, but no, he's not
there. He's not there yet.
I don't even see him making the quarters. But maybe 1 or 2 year window with Djokovic and Alcaraz. I think it could be really magical for tennis because Alcaraz is just so electric, and the shots that he hits, and now Djokovic seems to be motivated. And
well, that adjustment he made from the French to Wimbledon, right? Like, it didn't take him like a year or 6 months to figure out. It took him like one other Grand Slam to figure it out.
He is the defending champion of the U.S. Open. I mean,
yeah.
Unfortunately, they wouldn't let Novak play last year.
So it's almost an asterisk, I feel like.
definitely. But
it's a different asterisk.
Still won the tournament.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're looking forward to the beer girl again. Come back.
Yeah, the beer girl is this hot blonde who they put the camera on. She stands up and chugs beers. I think her employer found out and like she got fired or something like that. Yeah,
I have to look into this.
So she's trying to like.
She's got to monopolize on this whole thing.
She's trying to. I saw something with Barstool Sports did an article. It was
that's the way to go.
I don't know, it's OnlyFans or something, you know, like when you got the bikini pictures and you try to make money off it or something like that. And she's trying to do it.
She just do the Instagram like what's that other one? Rachel's Stutzman or whatever. She's another tennis influencer.
If you know what you're doing, you can make money, you know. So, yeah.
But it's gonna be fun. The U.S. Open's gonna be fun this year.
It's a bummer. I'm not able to go, and we got to go next year.
We gotta go. Honestly, I would love. You know what? If we can't get to the U.S. Open, I feel like that Cincinnati tournament would be kind of fun to check out.
They all play it. It's smaller.
It seems a little more feasible.
Yeah, it's probably more affordable.
Yeah,
Stay
right.
in Cincinnati
versus New York. I'm just saying.
Manhattan. Luckily, I'm able to stay with my sister in New Jersey, but
you have accommodations.
Yeah, it's an amazing tournament. It's very international. There's just people from all over the world. It's extremely crowded. It's usually hot. The night sessions,
but not like Florida hot, or is it just as hot? Just as hot.
Just
okay,
as hot.
So it's slightly different.
You know, the night sessions are always a big deal, and you know that attracts more of people get off work and they go and they just start partying, and then it starts getting rowdy and it goes late. So I'm excited. We got 2 weeks. Basically, I'm just excited about Alcaraz and Djokovic.
That'll be a fun final.
And to
as
see
much
an
as
American.
we talked about.
We want an American to win, obviously, but it just seems like those two are by far the biggest names and the most important players in tennis.
No one else has shown that they're quite there on that level.
Yeah, but Stan Wawrinka, he's won. He was with the big three, and he was able to win tournaments, and
he won some Grand Slams too. And, he really came to his own. And
so maybe Medvedev is that guy that can like every once in a while step it up, but he's never beaten Alcaraz.
I don't think so.
No, like Alcaraz dominates him. So. I mean, he hasn't been that great either. And he's usually one of the best hardcore players in the world. So
yeah, he's a little bit unorthodox, but he's a good player.
The thing that's a bummer, it's on ESPN, and tennis just not that popular in the United States as it was, back in the 80s and the 90s.
The tennis channel's too busy putting pickleball on.
Yeah, and an American, we need an American men player to be really good to get it popular again in the United States. So it goes late. So yeah, it comes on late. It goes late. I don't think we both don't have that ESPN Plus. If you have that, you can get like almost every match. But yeah, it'll be on ESPN and ESPN2. Probably ESPN2 more, depending. It's competing against football.
This rate's going to be an ESPN Ocho pretty soon.
I know. It's competing against football, so... I do like the crew. We got McEnroe and Gilbert and Pam Shriver and McEnroe's brother.
Patrick.
So, yeah, we're excited.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that stuff. I know that we were going to talk about our personal journey stuff, but like kind of stay on
the pro.
So
as
stick
a fan?
on the pro. Like maybe like we kind of talked about this a little bit. Like what would you change? Like you've been U.S. Open.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of tournaments. So
we've been to Miami Open.
The advice I always give the people: go the first couple days during the week, because it just gets the first weekend. Forget about it. It's going to be. It's so crowded.
Everyone's there. Yeah, everyone's checking out right away.
Yeah, so I always say, try to go last minute. You can go grounds pass and see a lot of tennis. You're there at night too. They're playing night 11 a.m. to probably 11 p.m. or 9 p.m.
Yeah,
you can watch all day and all these different matches. If you want to go for free, I think our friend Chin is there, and the qualies are free. You just go in there and you're watching. So I mean, you're watching the qualifiers, but you're still there, and
they're
sure you get really close,
good.
And it's free. It's still good.
Still good tennis. Qualies are still good tennis.
Did you see that thing where they were asking? I don't know if it was online or people at a tournament whether they can win a point against a professional player.
I'll put the thing up, but there was a poll, and they had some of the commentators on his tennis channel talking about it. Like, there's I think it was 80% of amateurs think they can get a few games off of like Djokovic or
games or a point.
I want to say games, but I could be wrong.
Here are the percentage of people who thought they could win a game against a professional tennis player. 71% overall, more than 80% of the younger players, and nearly half of players over the age of 55 were like, yeah, I can get a game off Joker. Okay.
Either way, it's delusional. Like, Roddick went off, and I agree. There's no effing way. There's no F. No.
This is insane. If I had as much self-confidence in my tennis game as these people who were surveyed do, I would have won Wimbledon 17 times minimum. This is absolutely insane. There is no chance. I played the Ohio University intramural champion back in like 05 or 06 because a guy was writing a book about, what would be needed to compete with a pro. I beat him with a frying pan, Steve, a frying pan. And it's not like I'm the most talented guy. There it is.
No.
You watch it and you're like, oh yeah, I think I can get in there and return that serve, but there's no way. I mean,
tennis on TV, everything's, I think, if
so much slower. Yeah.
If they in that bird's eye view, you just think, oh, why couldn't you get to that? But if they brought that camera like at the ground level, close to the player, I think people would get a real idea of how fast that ball's going.
And we're talking about people like our level. We're like a 4.0, 4.5 level players. Leo and I, and I think women would dominate us. Even the college girls would dominate us. I couldn't beat a college girl.
Yeah.
A D1. Like, maybe I can get a game off. I don't even know about. I don't think so.
I was watching this. I don't know who. I'll put a shout out if I remember where I saw this video. But someone was doing an analysis of this conversation, and they actually did the math of like, okay, he's like a 4.5 player, and he like timed like when he hit the ball and when it landed on the other side. And then he did that same analysis with a pro. And it's like, I don't know, like 8 seconds, the ball from the minute you hit it to when it lands. And then like the best he could do is 15. And that's not even aiming right. Just like with no direction. And they do that on a normal basis. And I'm probably getting my seconds wrong, but just the velocity of that ball coming at you. It's not.
Well, I don't
no effing way.
When I lived in Miami, I would play where they used to play the Miami Open in Crandon Park, and there would be professional players there on the court, and you would know it's a professional player. It sounds like they're when they make contact, like it's like a shotgun, like a gun going off. It's like it's a different sound. They move different. They hit different. Bottom line, it's ridiculous. No one can get not even a point. No, not even a point.
Not even a point. It'd be like you'd be done in 30 minutes. Not
you
even.
Couldn't
you'd be done in 20 minutes.
I don't even think you can get a return of serve like in the court. Maybe. No.
Maybe. Barely. Maybe.
I have this app that I record my matches and it edits the time in between and it gives you the mile per hour and it gives you the spin. I don't know how accurate it is, but. You feel like you're ripping the ball, and I'm serving between 65 and maybe like 85, 90, like on my best serve. I think, me and like this really young guy, that guy James, we had tripped 100 a few times, but a big serve is in the 80s for us. That is like nothing for them.
That's nothing. That's a second serve.
They're serving 135, and then the second is 105.
I know.
110.
The women are doing that too.
Yeah.
The women are doing that.
They're hitting the second, 85, 90.
Right, but their first serves are... Yeah. I mean, when I went Miami Open the night before you guys showed up, and I got pretty close because I just got tickets last second. And I was watching Rebecca play, and because you're that close, you see the little speedometer, and like her first serves were like 115, or second serves, you're right, 80, but on average are a little like closer to 90. So I'm like, there's no way. Right?
They're professionals for a reason. They're extremely gifted. They've been playing tennis since they're 5 years old, and their whole life is tennis. Like they didn't even go to school. Like they homeschool. They're just constant tennis. We're out here. We love watching. We love playing. I started playing in my mid-30s, and I think I'm pretty decent. But come on, professionals, you're not getting a point. You're not getting a game.
It's just
Especially the men.
It's just a funny thought that people think, oh yeah, I could do that. I can totally do that.
Yeah.
But people are delusional. But it's funny. It's a funny stat.
Well, they probably watch football on TV and they're like, oh yeah. And then have you ever seen a defensive lineman like in person? They're like the biggest human beings you ever seen in your life.
Yeah, it's funny.
Even
funny
college
stuff.
players, like,
Yeah,
anyone that's played in college and still plays is it's not even fair like even playing them.
No, they're
in
like
our leagues. Yeah,
immediate 5-0 or 5-5.
Definitely.
Or, I don't know what the UTR is on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's ridiculous.
I think we maybe talked about this before the Miami Open, but
It was a while ago. But
we'll go over it again. But they should not have these matches start at like 11 p.m. I mean, who's there at 11? Who's watching on TV at 11? They have these matches start at like 11, 11:30, and they're going till 3 in the morning, and they like have pride about it. It's ending at 2, 3, and you can't like the trains, the Long Island Railroad, and that stuff shuts down at the U.S. Open. Like you have to take a car home. So I feel that they should have a time restriction on when they could start a match. It's not fair for the players. It's by the time they cool down, do press, get home, they're getting home at like 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And what if they end up having like an earlier match?
Yeah, and no one's really watching that on TV. So I get it from their point of view as far as the only two sports where you can't really cheer or talk is golf and tennis. Like, when the pros talk, they feel like that upper deck. And I think they've changed in the U.S. Open because it's so big. They can't see that, and I think that's fine. They say people can move and talk up there. Yeah, I guess the lower deck, if people are moving, I get the moving part, but
right.
I don't know. I feel like they should just have cheering. Like it would be, basketball they have and all this stuff. But I guess from their point of view is they hear the ball a certain way, and that helps like with their timing or something.
I don't think we talked about it on a pod. It was that I don't know what podcast it was. It was like TFO and Eubanks and Shelton, and they were talking about, hey, everyone at the eye level, don't move between points, but everyone upper deck, like you're saying, kind of like what you're saying, move around as much as you want, whatever. And people are going to get excited on a long point anyways. Yeah. Right? If you get this long, 20-shot rally, everyone's going to be starting going off crazy anyways. Right. Whatever. I don't know. Should players just get used to that shit?
Yeah, I think so.
When it comes down to it.
It's a TV product, and you want the fans to be into it. So I'm involved with a non-for-profit organization. Shout out to Genesis Hopeful Haven. And, we were fortunate enough that... I can't remember the player's name, but this player in the Miami Dolphins took a bunch of the kids. These are foster care kids that know nothing about tennis and nothing about sports. Their biggest takeaway is why can't we cheer during, why do we have to be quiet? They could not understand that or get over that. A lot of people tennis is not that popular anymore. You want to get it more popular. You want to get more people involved. You got to let them cheer, right?
Yeah, like that ultimate. Did you watch any of that Ultimate Tennis Showdown at UTS thing at all?
It's That's Patrick Month.
Yeah. Like that's a completely weird scoring thing.
I think the scoring is perfect in tennis.
Yeah. It just changed. It was just a different format, right? Yeah. And you could cheer, you could move around. It was more like a more friendly type event. And I'm not saying you need to change tennis completely, but I think if you can meld the two a little bit to where, hey, how annoying is that when it's hot and you want to go in and watch whoever and you got to wait and it's a long point and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting. Just let me in.
I think, this doesn't make sense either, but I want a little bit more team events, men and women on the team. I think we talked about this, do a World Cup. It would be cool. Hey, they came to our town and we saw, I think they do World Tennis or something like
World
that.
Tennis,
that's like a couple of weeks. It just makes sense. Like, have jerseys, like have their name on the back with their number. Like people,
that's World Team Tennis, but you've
got to appeal to people that watch other sports and stuff like that. And
World Team Tennis got weird, and I think it's because of COVID. Like World Team Tennis used to be like what you're talking about. They had a few pros, and they tore around different cities,
men and women, and they would.
But then, like during
you could sub in, I think, and switch your partner.
Yeah, you can. That was so weird. At the tail end, though, of COVID, when they all just went to one spot and played for like 2 weeks, and it's like that's cool if you live by that one spot, but. Kind of like the idea of like, oh, they're just going to be over here, or like at Tampa or Orlando. Maybe we'll make the trek to watch some cool stuff or something.
Sure. As far as tennis, like I said, I think you need cheering. I think you need men and women combined. But there's so many different interests here. I forget WTA, ATP, all the majors they're independent. What is it, like ITF or something like that is another one. There's like 4 or 5 different.
There's so many organizations.
Sort of like boxing,
It's ridiculous.
It's always on. I think it's probably like 49, 50 weeks of the year. There is some kind of tournament.
Tennis is a weird thing where you can play like literally all year round.
Yeah, there's no off season for them. None. So I don't know. Maybe have one person be the commissioner or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's interesting. They say to play the lets. People want to do that. I don't know.
They do that in college, though. I guess
they
do the lets.
Doesn't seem like there's that many lets in a match anyway. So
I don't know. They keep doing weird stuff. Like if you do USTA, it's my understanding it's fast 4 format, so it's not even full sets.
Well, the doubles.
That's singles too.
The doubles, so there's no ad. So once it's deuce, then you decide who's going to return.
You pick which side.
And the next point wins, which I guess is interesting. I don't... when you watch doubles live and, you and I like to play doubles, it's super exciting. These guys are amazing. For some reason on TV, it's just kind of boring, right? No one cares. And none of the singles guys play because there's just not enough money for them and not really worth it. I don't know.
I like... You're right.
It seems like more of the women play. Coco and Pagula are a team, and...
Well, I saw Ben Shelton play doubles at Cincinnati.
Yeah, he's young. It's like...
Mm-hmm. But you're not seeing Djokovic play doubles, though.
No.
I think that's it from a pro side, but we can talk about our own personal tennis journey stuff.
Yeah, sure.
In the club stuff a little bit.
In the club. The summer season just ended, so... The spring season, I went winless, over. I think it was a combination of better competition and more of just a terrible attitude on my part. What they call tanking. I would get upset, probably with my own play or something, and then I don't know, just not give effort or find an excuse. Like I didn't want to be there, and losing every match is really humbling. So I really had to change my attitude and be like, all right, either let's not compete or let's chill out a little bit. And no one cares about this. So
it's just amateur tennis, whatever.
I just love competing, and I was just so over competitive and taking it way too seriously. So I think that for me was just playing a little bit more free and, deep breaths in between and relaxing and not caring so much. So I made it to the semifinals. I lost.
Yeah, that was in summer. Yeah.
My Italian friend keeps on beating me, Lucian. And it was a lot of fun. But
so what did you do to get
what did I do to get better? I think it was the attitude. I think it was just relaxing a little bit more. And then some technical things that I hired someone, a lesson. And forehand is usually my strong side, and it was my worst side. My backhand was better than my forehand for a while there. So we made some adjustments. I was too close to the ball, and I played a lot better. I think I went 5-3.
That's awesome.
Like I said, I made the semis, and I think the attitude was the most thing. Just like being more positive, not being so negative against myself. And
well, they say this game's mental, right?
I think there's more time in between the points than actually playing the points in tennis. Like during a match, you think all the time in between the points and then sitting down in between the games.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, you probably like you can boil down a 2-hour match into like 20 minutes of actual play.
20 minutes.
Right?
So it's just managing your thoughts, being positive, relaxing, breath work. The technical thing, I was getting too close to the ball, and it was fun. I'm taking a little break. It's I don't know. I've just been competing for almost every season. Last 9 years living in Miami and living here and on the west coast of Florida, and I'm gonna take a little break. I got some stuff going on personally that I gotta focus on, but I'm just gonna, just like you and I had fun today and play with my friends, and the scheduling and kind of the stress of it is I know this sounds silly, but
it's kind of a pain in the butt. In all honesty, and
then you're playing people that you don't know, and when you're competing, people react different. I've had some confrontations this one, and line calls and just strange behavior, with some other guys. So
bad calls. You got some bad calls?
I had some bad calls.
Oh, wow.
But whatever. I always gave the point to the other guy, though. It's not, and... Yeah. The other day, no one cares, but I guess the adjustment was mental as far as being more positive, relaxing more. Let's just focus on one or two things, and let's not focus on just the outcome. What about you? It seems like you were struggling with the serve for a while.
I feel like I feel like I figured it out a little bit. I mean, I had a few along today, but I feel like it wasn't as bad as I was. I mean, for me, my serve, I felt like it was something previous I never thought about. I just did it. And then earlier in the year, I just lost it. You saw my serve. It was it was either barely getting over, or if it was getting over, I somehow sliced it where it was spin in and drop really shallow. And
people wouldn't be ready for it.
No one would be ready. But I would be doing all this weird arm motion, like it's going to come over normal, and then it would just barely come over. And I was pissing a lot of people off. And I'm like, okay, if I can at least do that, then that'll gain me some points. But it honestly, I think it hurt me. Physically, it hurt me. I got a little tennis elbow now. I was locking my wrist down for some crazy reason on that serve. I wasn't no racket drop. So for me, video helped a lot, watching myself practicing hitting buckets of balls, and then just realize I need to just relax my wrist, hit through that, kind of limp wrist for the most part through the whole thing, because I was trying to arm it, and it was spinning.
I mean, you and I practiced a lot. I think just practicing helps. Practicing helps. When you're practicing today, we a lot of people don't practice their serve, and it's the serve and the return are the two most important shots.
Well,
today we practiced it before we started, and then we played a little bit. But
if your serve's crappy, your confidence kind of goes with it.
I know,
right?
Especially you can't get it in. You're double faulting. It's definitely my weakness. I mean, I've gotten a little better, and I double fault a lot today, but
you were close. But you were just hitting that tape. It was just, whatever.
So I guess it would just be obviously you want to play, but you can't just play 100%. You got to practice a little bit, especially on your own, and that serve is key. Yeah.
So I don't play a lot of singles. I've been with Ryan. We've been playing a lot of doubles. League.
How'd it go?
And early in the year, that first spring session, we got to the playoffs, but that's when my serve was starting to decline worse. And we lost that semi, terrible. I wish I didn't even show up. It was why did I even show up?
It's humbling, right?
Very humbling. We had a close 3 sets with the same team, and then that when we played that semifinal, I'm I would have just rather taken the fucking default at that point. That's how bad it was. And then Ryan kind of you kind of lost.
Hey, you can do all this stuff in practice, and then you get in the playoffs, and everything matters, and it's fun, but it can be
humbling, very humbling.
Yeah.
So then I worked on my serve, and I felt like I figured it out.
Okay.
And then summer session came, and then I felt like I was playing pretty good, but then Ryan doesn't play as much, so I felt like his level was not as high as it could have been.
He's gonna be mad if he sees
I know
hears
he's gonna
this.
be totally mad about it, but like he only played when we played matches. So.
Yeah.
But I'm not blaming all on him. I have my own number of errors. But I guess the only thing that annoys me, and this is my little gripe, and it's just probably my gripe. We had 6 teams. One of them dropped out, so that came down to 5 teams, right?
Yeah.
We were 2-2 in the whole season, and the 2 that we lost, well, one of the ones we lost, I felt like we lost it really close. Like that was just stupid errors, and we beat that team easily last session.
Right.
So that was kind of frustrating. The other loss, those guys kind of just killed us. They were like, all they do is play tennis all day. They're retired and they're really good and they know doubles and whatever, right? They kind of killed us. So 2-2, we ended up with somehow, just because of the scoring of the points, like a negative 0.5 on the rating. So we didn't get into playoffs, which was kind of frustrating because I'm like, ugh.
So you guys are,
it's stupid.
You and I always we play for fun. And it's always hard for me to find a partner just because, I don't know, people just aren't into doubles. And I don't know. You guys are super casual. I don't know what you're like in these competition, or if you're the same or what, but.
Pretty much the same.
Yeah.
I mean.
Is there like an adjustment that you guys can make to, I don't know, either be more intense or to
probably in all reality, it probably a little more intense, a little more intent on our shots. I try to be a little bit aggressive, but
what about like that?
I'm short because what's the easy thing when the short guy tries to take the net and you realize you can't get by him? You hit the ball over the short guy. Right? Yeah. That happens a lot. So then I'm like, all right, so this is the game that's happening. They realize they can't get by me.
I mean, I like doubles. I feel you got to identify who the weakest volleyer on their team is and just rip shots at that guy. Make him hit a backhand volley.
Yeah. But people get lazy and they go over a lot sometimes. I don't know. Yeah. Not all. I don't want to say a lot, but like they realize, okay, if I can get over and get the ball going, point going, then maybe there's another opportunity there. That's what I've seen, but...
My thing, I'm working on my ball toss. I can't get it. It's just like it goes left. It's inconsistent. I guess every tennis player is nodding. But when I get to consistent, I think I'm a pretty good server. I'm a pretty good shot maker. But I'm going to be working on that. I'm going to try to play probably twice a week, maybe one practice session of like serves, and then try to play another. And then compete next year. I think it probably starts up in late January,
something like that.
Yeah. So a little bit more casual, a little bit, probably play some more doubles with you guys and have fun. I don't know. What are you working on? Is there anything specifically?
I need to. You know what I really need to do? I need to give my arm a rest. Is what I should do. But
arm.
I should. I got a little tennis elbow going on.
Okay. Yeah. This stretch where you. I don't know if you're doing this one where you
a little bit
you press down on it.
I've been doing the up and the back. And
do this
that
down one
down
and do it with heat on it, like in the shower, and do it a lot during the day. And that's what helped me. I mean, the strings help. I got a new racket. I think it's the technique. It might be your backhand.
Okay. I can tell you what I did. It was my shitty serve. Early in the year, I was doing this like locking my wrist down, and I wasn't back swinging.
Does it hurt on the inside or the outside?
Both. A little bit of both, but more the inside.
So tennis elbow, guys. I this stretch right here and heat. Don't ice. Heat. Heating pad.
Heat. Okay.
Heat. Yeah. And you don't warm up much. I see you warm up a little bit. But do this
that gets it.
Times and then after in the car, I'm just doing this the whole time, and I'm doing it in the shower every day.
Last time I got tennis elbows, literally like 10 years ago.
Oh yeah,
10 years ago, 8 to 10 years ago. Facebook reminded me and some memory because I was at like some USTA like championship and I had the freaking tennis elbow brace. I'm like, I remember I had tennis elbow and I was still in the freaking like
I used to wear the brace and everything, and it's usually poor technique, and I think on my part it was the backhand and gripping too hard. I gripped the racket too hard. And
so like talking about things that try to fix, right? Like obviously I did the videos and then like changed my technique and learned what I did wrong, but then I did other things. I'm like, well, maybe it's my equipment. So I went back to my old Wilson Burn, and that's a way lighter racket. I put weight on it. I changed strings. And then I was testing rackets. I tested that Wilson Shift, which is a way heavy and stiffer racket. I think, honestly, that's where I really hurt it, because it's a heavy, stiff racket. And then I was trying to like let equipment change it. And then it wasn't until I changed technique. But then as soon as I changed technique and I got my serve in regularly, I'm like, oh, damn, now my elbow hurts.
I think the key is the videotape, and then hire a pro, but show the pro the video too.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
You do that?
Yeah. So before the lesson, I'm like, this is what I'm doing. So then they can see that. And because, obviously they're pros, so they can see what you're doing during the lesson, but they see in the competition, and then they can make the adjustment. So I would recommend lesson, but videotape. First of all, you can see yourself.
Yeah.
And it's shocking, like, how bad you are. You think you're good, or you're like, oh my God, I played well. And then you watch, you're like, this is like terrible.
Like I do this.
Because you're used to watching professionals on TV.
Well, it's tough because, we're both one-handed backhands, right? And I feel like I had to get over what my left arm does this weird thing. I feel like the follow-through and the rest of my shot is fine, but my left hand does not do this normal, like, leave the hand like this out. It tends to flail.
I don't know. I say you're tough when you're really getting that slice in. You're keeping it low.
Yeah.
You need to know how to hit a kick serve.
I know. I need to work on that. There's a lot that serve needs help.
If you can just get a kick serve, I think that would really improve. And then, I would say stay with the slice. I think that's a real. You're a tough player when you're hitting that, real low.
Yeah, the slice helps. Although I do try to hit over it just to like change it up, but yeah. But
so I guess we got 2 weeks U.S. Open. Tune in ESPN. I don't know. Let us know. I don't know if anyone's watching besides my parents and my girlfriend, but let us know what you want to talk about on the club level, because we're club players, and believe me, we got we can talk about stories. I didn't want to get into the little tiffs I get into.
You mean like someone yelling at you that they hate topspin and telling you how you should play?
So we can get into that another time. And I've had some weird stories at these public courts. And
be sure you like, comment, share, tell us what you would like to see on
get out there and play.
Channel. Yeah, get out there and play.
All right.
Yeah, all right.
See ya.